Hello students, welcome to Sayyida's English Academy. So students, in the first part of the last lesson, we studied till here. I want you to be very attentive. This is the speech given by M. Hamel, because in this part M. Hamel made a very big announcement and shocked everyone. And the announcement was that no more French would be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. And from now onwards, only German would be taught. Now, let us start with what a thunderclap. So we have to start from here. As soon as M. Hamel made this big announcement, the child Franz was unable to understand how to react, because it was something very shocking for him, and it may also be the turning point of the story. What a thunderclap! These words were to me. Oh, the wretches! That was what they had put up at the town hall. Now the boy is thinking about the notice that was put up at the town hall. Now he thought, okay, these wretched men, those wicked men had put up this notice in the town hall. He's cursing them, and this news fall upon him like a thunderclap. My last French lesson? Why, I already knew how to, I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn anymore. I must stop there. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds, eggs, or going slidings on the Saar. My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so happy to carry my grammar and my history of the saints, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. Now the boy is making a self-realization and regretting for ignoring his education. When he heard that it is his last French lesson, he feels very sorry. He feels very much regretful, because he had not even learned how to write it so far, and that the order has come that he would never be able to learn it anymore, and he will have to stop there. So he was feeling very sorry for not taking interest in his lessons, for not focusing on his studies. And now he is regretting that he had wasted his time in seeking the bird's eggs or going sliding on the Saar river, not focusing, not paying attention to his books. He feels very much sorry. He feels very much regretful. And he also regrets that the books which seemed to be a nuisance to him a little ago, and that the same books which were a little heavy for him to carry, and his grammar lesson and the history of the saints, the history of that book, the language, had all of a sudden turned to be his old friends, and he felt like he cannot give up them. Something that was a burden to him all of a sudden turned to be a kind of very deep-rooted friendship, and he could not get rid of that. He suddenly valued his language, and M. Hamel too, and he also thinks that his teacher M. Hamel is no less. The idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. He also thought about his teacher M. Hamel. Only the idea that he would not be teaching him anymore had given him a great pain. He was not thinking about that he was a cranky man. He was not thinking about his ruler that he used to beat him, with which he used to beat him. He forgot all about, and rather he was thinking that he would be missing him once he goes away. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, and now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry, too, that they had not gone to school more. Now the boy could understand why the old villagers were sitting at the last benches. And he could also understand why M. Hamel was wearing his finest clothes that he usually wore on some special occasion. Now he understood. He had worn this special dress in honor of his last lesson. So this was the reason why the villagers had gathered and sat at the back. And they were also regretting. So villagers also regret ignoring their education, not gone to school more, that they had also not attended the school regularly. So everyone was somewhere regretting. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. So somewhere they had come to thank M. Hamel, their master, for giving his 40 years long service. So he was a very loyal man, and that he had given his such a long service of 40 years is not it's a very long time that the man has devoted himself to the country. So all of the villagers had actually come to show their respect to their master. When I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. So by the time the boy was feeling guilty for not studying and regretting for ignoring his education, all of a sudden he heard that his name was called. It was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for the participle all through, very loud and clear, and without one mistake. Now he's thinking, when his name was called to recite his lesson, he was thinking whether he would be able to read those dreadful rules for the participle, loud and clear, without making any mistake. But I got mixed up on the first words and stood there. But as soon as he started, he got stuck, holding on to my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. And he was only holding his desk. His heart was throbbing out of fear, that even out of shame, more out of shame, because even in the last day of his French class, he could not speak up clearly. I heard M. Hamel say to me, I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. Now, from here we see the very emotional speech. You can put a tick mark here. A very emotional speech of M. Hamel, where he is going to show how important it was for them to value their language, and that how they all ignored their language, their lessons, how everyone was equally responsible for not valuing education. So this part is going to be very important because it is showing the emotional speech of M. Hamel, making everyone realize their mistakes. So we see that the boy was already very much ashamed for not being able to deliver his lesson well without mistakes. At this point, the same master who used to scold him said very emotionally, I want to scold you, little Franz. Franz, you need not get frightened. I'm not going to scold you because you must feel bad enough. You might be feeling bad. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, I have plenty of time. This is a very important line. He says that every day we had ignored our studies. We had always procrastinated. I have plenty of time. Everyone said that we have a lot of time. I'll learn it tomorrow. And procrastinated and deferred it to the next day and then again to the another day. So this way they had only ignored their studies. And now you see where we have come out. Now he makes everyone realize that by procrastinating, by not taking interest in their lessons and always ignoring education, where they had come now, what condition they have come to, what situation they have come to. That's a great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. And then he says, this is the biggest problem. This is the biggest challenge. This is the biggest problem of Alsace. The people of Alsace always procrastinate. They always put off learning till tomorrow. They never take learning seriously. They never take education seriously. Always put it off for tomorrow, for the next day. Now, those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it? You pretend to be a Frenchman, and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language. And M. Hamel also makes them realize that since they did not focus on their language, their studies, now the men outside, the German, they would be mocking at them. They would be making comments upon them that you pretend to be Frenchmen, that how can you claim yourself to be a Frenchman when you can neither speak nor write your own language. So somewhere we will be mocked at by those outsiders, the Germans. But you are not the worst, poor little Franz. Addressing to Franz, he also gave lesson to the entire class. He says that you are not the worst. You are not the only one who is responsible. We have all a great deal to reproach ourselves. Somewhere he says that we all are responsible. We all are guilty somewhere. So M. Hamel wants to make everyone realize that they were all guilty, to reproach themselves. They all must reproach themselves. So he wants to blame everyone present there. It's not just the students who ignored their studies, who were lazy. Then he says your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. He also blames the parents of the students because they were also not that much careful to make their children learn. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills so as to have a little more money. He says that parents were also responsible for ignoring the studies of their children. They preferred more to make their children work to earn more money rather than educating them. And he also blames himself. I have been to blame also. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? He regrets for wasting every single minute, and that's why he's blaming everyone there. He says that he was also responsible for ignoring. Whenever he had to go out for fishing, he gave them holidays, and he also made the students water his garden instead of teaching them. So he thinks that somewhere everyone present there is responsible. Then from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world. And then, the clearest, the most logical, that we must guard it among us and never forget it. Because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. So, after blaming everyone for ignoring their studies, he goes on glorifying their language. And he calls the French language the most beautiful language of the world, the clearest and most logical. And then a very important lesson or the message he gives, that we must guard it among us and never forget. That everyone must protect their language and should never forget it, because it can become a key. It's very important line. You may be asked some questions from this part, where he says, he gives the value, he gives people how valuable the language can be, because if somebody is enslaved, the language can be a key to their prison. A language can take them out of the prison to them. Then he opened the grammar and read us our lesson. After that, he read one lesson for them. I was amazed to see how well I understood. Now the boy was so amazed, so shocked, because the same grammar lesson that he never listened with interest, which he could never understand, he was so easily understanding it. The reason was the boy had now realized the importance of this language. That's the reason. I think too that I had never listened so carefully, and that he had never explained everything with so much patience. This is the reason why the boy felt that this could he is able to understand everything, because now he had understood the value of his language. He had now understood valuing his language. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all that he knew before going away. And with such a devotion, M. Hamel was teaching them that it appeared as if he wanted to give everything about the language in one hit, in one stroke, and to put it all into our heads at one stroke, the same thing that I said. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing. That day, M. Hamel had new copies for us, written in beautiful round hand, France, Alsace, France, Alsace. So, after the reading part was done, the grammar part was done, they had the lesson of writing, and for this, M. Hamel has also brought for them new copies in which France and Alsace was written in a rounded way. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom, hung from the rod at the top of our desk. And now these copies looked like the little flags. All of a sudden, the feeling of patriotism was coming to the boy's head, and he felt those copies to be the flags of their country, because France was written there, Alsace was written there, the country name was written there, hung from the rod at the top of our desk. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work, and how quiet it was. And as soon as the copies were distributed, everyone started working without making any noise. The only sound was the scratching of the pens over the paper. So what was the only noise? The scratching. The noise that made by the pen on the paper. Once some beetles flew in, but nobody paid any attention to them. The same place, the same class where the children were very much disturbing, where the children had no attention in the class, but now, today, everyone was so attentive, giving full attention to their class, to their writing. Not even the littlest ones, who worked right on tracing their fish hooks, as if that was French too. Even the youngest kids were busy writing or tracing the fish hooks, means the tracing lines that are given to the young kids to start writing. So they were also paying full attention to their writing line, tracing thing. And it appeared as if it was also a kind of French language or lesson for them. Even the youngest kids were so attentive now. On the roof, the pigeons cooed very low, and I thought to myself, will they make them sing in German? Even the pigeons. Look at the sarcastic line, a very ironical line the boy says, and it is also very important for you from your exam point of view. All of a sudden, he heard the pigeons cooing in a very low tone, and Franz thought in his mind that, will the Germans make these pigeons to sing in their language? So it is a kind of ironical remark upon those French men where he thinks that since they are very atrocious, they are not allowing them to sing their language, so are they going to make even the animals and birds to sing in their language? So this was the intention of the boy. Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at the another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. So when the boy looked at M. Hamel, he was busy gazing at one thing or the another, as if he wanted to see everything is looking very, wanted to just how everything looked in that little school. He wanted to fix an image of the classroom in his mind. Fancy, or maybe he was just thinking. For 40 years, he had been there in the same place with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him, just like that. Because he had given his 40 years in that place. There was a garden outside. So he wanted to fix every image in his mind. Only the desk and benches had been worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hopvine that he had planted himself twined about the windows to the roof. Now, only the desk and benches had been worn. So those desks and benches over the 40 years had worn out now, a little been. They were old and worn out also. There were so many trees in his garden, the walnut trees and hopvine he had planted. So many things are mentioned here. So very beautiful imagery is presented here. How it must have broken his heart to leave it all. Poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room above, packing their trunks, for they must leave the country next day. Now Franz feels very sad for his master. He thinks that M. Hamel might have a broken heart, even with the thought that he will have to leave it all behind. What? His class, his school, the garden, the trees, everything that he had invested his life upon. And he was also hearing his sister packing their trunks because they had to leave the country since they will not be able to teach French. So both M. Hamel and his sister will have to leave. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. Still, M. Hamel was courageous enough to listen to every lesson. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their ba, baby, bo, boo. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles and holding his primer in both hands. Now, after the writing session was over, they had the lesson in history, and after that the young kids were chanting their alphabets, the phonics, and then down there the back of the room, old Hauser, the same man who was sitting at the back of the house, he was putting on his spectacles and he was also holding his primer. I told you what is primer, you know that. Both hands, the book he was carrying in his hand, spelled the letters, wait, with them. You could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotion that it was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. Now old Hauser, he was reading his lesson with such a trembling voice, so full of emotion, that it was very hard to make out what he was actually saying, and it appeared very funny, and they all wanted to laugh at him and also cry. A mixed emotion was coming out from everyone. Ah, how well I remember it, that last lesson. Now the boy is much regretting that it was their last lesson. All at once the church clock struck 12, then the Angelus. At the same moment the trumpets of the Prussians, returning from the drill, sounded under our rooms. M. Hamel stood up, very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. So when the class was going on, all of a sudden the church bell rang, and then they had the Angelus, means their prayer, the Catholic prayers. And then at this time they heard the bell. It was not just the church bell, it was also a kind of trumpet from them. Same moment the trumpets of the Prussians, they heard the trumpet sound by the Prussian soldiers that they were now returning from their drill, and they could hear it from the windows. And as soon as the trumpets were heard, M. Hamel understood it is their time, his time to leave. He stood up and he was looking very pale. My friends, said he, I, and then he could not, but something choked him, he could not go on. Realizing that the soldiers had come to make them empty the school, M. Hamel wanted to say something, but he could not speak up. Rather, the words choked in his throat. Then he turned to the blackboard. He could not say any word. He became very emotional. Took a piece of chalk and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could. This is the most emotional and most pathetic scene I always feel whenever I read this line. Look how much he was how much he was proud of his language and culture. He could not utter a word. Rather, he turned to the board and wrote, "Vive la France." Wow, such emotional line. Such an emotional line. Long live France. It means, wait. Vive la France. Long live France. He could only wish for his country's good luck. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall. Without a word, he made a gesture to us with his hand. "School is dismissed, you may go." This is how the last lesson was done and the school was dismissed. I hope, see, this last part I would tell you that it has a very symbolic ending. What M. Hamel wrote, "Vive la France" or "Long live France" was actually a final message what he was wishing for his country. I hope you understood this. So with this we come to the end of the story, and I would like to give you some very important themes. I hope you will write them and will get the help from it, be benefited. See what important themes we have taken from this. Very first is love for language. This we have seen through the character of M. Hamel. The next theme is patriotism. Again, that is shown from the character of M. Hamel, and also the young boy Franz revealed that he also had some kind of patriotism for his country, and that we value things when it is too late. Somewhere it was a silent resistance through language. Then the next theme is regret and realization. And the last, very important, power of education. That education should not be neglected. This is the key message of this story. Let me write the key message. Education should not be neglected. This is the biggest message that is conveyed through this story. I hope with the help of these points and with this explanation, you will be able to make it out and do well in your exams. Till then, now we will be meeting in the next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.